guys, I'm Liz from Craft Stop, and today I am going to be showing you how to make a floating candle centerpiece for your wedding. For your centerpiece, you'll need a rectangular tray of your choice. You'll need 3 vases, 1 tall and 2 short. You will need water beads that match your wedding colors. You will need some river or beach stones that you think are pretty, some fresh cut flowers, and you're also going to need 2 floating candles. Now we use the floating candles because tea lights have that tin at the bottom, and when you put the candles in your centerpiece, you'll be able to see that tin and it just won't look right. So we're going to use the floaters. You also need a pair of scissors to cut your flowers and a scrap bowl, because when you start cutting the flowers, the stems get everywhere and it's just messy. So I like to keep it neat and tidy. You can cut the stems right in a scrap bowl. For your centerpiece, you are going to take your tray and place it in the center of your table. And you're going to get your vases ready. You take the first color of water beads, and you want to pour about 1/3 of the first color into the vases. If you pour too many in, that's fine. Don't worry about it. You can just pour them back out. Not a big deal. And you want to be careful because, as you can see, they're very bouncy, so you'll have water beads everywhere. That looks good. And then you take your second color and you fill the, and you fill your vases up about 2/3 of the way. Now you don't want to fill them all the way up because the candles have to sit on the small vases. So you need room so the candle's not spilling, oh, there goes another one, over the top of the vase. So like that's good. Now for the big one in the middle, it's especially important that you only fill it up about 2/3 of the way because the stems of the flowers are going to push your water beads up, so you want to make sure there's a little bit of room for them to come up. Oh, oh. See? This takes a little while, but if you have them in a cup and you're pouring them in, they'll bounce everywhere and they'll be all over the place. And the last thing you want to do at a wedding reception is be running around picking water beads up all over the floor. So I find that using my hands is the best, even though it takes a little bit more time. And we just keep filling and filling and filling. And I'm going to say that that's good because, again, the flower stems are going to push the beads up and you don't want them overflowing and spilling all over the place. Oh, oh, caught him. So we want, again, not all the way up to the top because we need to put the candle in. Can't forget about him. And that looks great. So now we take our scrap bowl. So I'm going to need to cut some stems. And you want to place your vases on your tray. Now this next part's up to you. It's your wedding, so you can present these however you want. You can present them straight on like this. Another option that I personally like is to have them at an angle like that, or you can even mix it up and do a little bit of both. Again, it's your wedding, it's up to you. But for today, we're going to do it like this, because this is what I like the best. So you have your vases all set on your tray. Now the fun part for me is arranging the flowers, because I love arranging flowers. It's fun and it's easy. So you take your flowers. Oh, I don't know where that flower went. Anyway, you just place them in your big vase. It's very easy to do. However you want, you can do as many flowers or as few flowers as you want to. Whatever you think looks best. You just arrange them nicely. just looks wonderful. If you don't want as much green in there, you think there's too much leaves and not enough flowers, you can start pulling them off. Stick them in. If you want some depth to your arrangement, you just rip that guy off. You just take your flower and at an angle, you cut the stem into your scrap bowl so you don't make a mess. And we have a little bit of depth, which is really pretty, I think. Some people like them all the same height. Some people don't. Everybody's different. Whatever you like best. Now that the flowers are done, we can get rid of our scrap bowl. The next step is going to be to put our little floating candles into the small vases. Now, the water beads are not a perfectly flat surface. They're going to be a little uneven, so it's okay if the candles are not perfect on top. Nobody's going to be staring at it. Nobody's going to notice, but if it is kind of wonky and it's kind of like that, just take it out, flatten your water beads out, take a one away if you need to, add one if you need to. But for the most part, there you go. Now the last step is taking our river stones, and I think it adds just a little bit of texture to the centerpiece. You just take your river stones, and this is tin, so it's going to be a little loud, but you just place them all around in between the vases, in the front and the back, and I think it just adds a nice little touch, makes it look kind of natural, and puts it all together nicely. So we're just going to do this. Really noisy, sorry guys. And you can do, again, as many stones as you want to, as few stones as you want to. Heck, if you didn't like the stones, you don't even have to put them in. It's your wedding centerpiece. Do what you want. I think that's looking great. So, the final step is to light the candles. So I'm going to take her. And, oh, I just think that looks so natural and so beautiful, and I think it's perfect for a wedding centerpiece. Well, guys, you saw how easy that was. The floating candle wedding centerpiece with water beads. Please visit us today at craft-stop.com for all of your water bead needs. See you next time. All proceeds from Craft Stop go to support programs for persons with developmental disabilities.